Warning, before we begin, an important note. These stories are so disturbing, they might stay in your mind for days. Are you ready for this? You will never have a normal Thanksgiving again after this. Have you ever imagined that a simple Thanksgiving dinner could turn into a nightmare worthy of the most terrifying movies? Seems impossible, doesn't it? But wait until you hear the real stories I've brought to you today. From a feast that ended in family tragedy to a macabre dinner hiding a deadly secret, these stories will make you question if you truly know the people around you. And the scariest part, they all really happened. Stay with me, because what you'll discover here might forever change the way you see the most traditional holiday of all. Have you ever felt that tension in the air during a family gathering? Like every word was a bomb ready to explode. Joel felt that during the last Thanksgiving he spent with his parents. A 27-year-old man, he lived under their roof, financially dependent and drowning in debt. Everything seemed normal on the surface until dinner. A piece of news turned the feast into a scene of terror. His parents had decided to cut off his allowance. Imagine the scene, the heavy silence, voices suddenly rising, the sound of a fork dropping on an empty plate. When words were no longer enough, what remained was an unthinkable act. Joel wasn't a violent man, at least not until that moment. But under the pressure of humiliation and despair, he transformed. What started as a shout became an attack. Reports say he grabbed a knife, a simple household tool, but devastating in the wrong hands, and confronted his parents. The house, filled with laughter and the smell of roasted turkey minutes before, turned into a battlefield. Real facts show that family crimes often stem from small sparks like this. Have you ever thought how your words might trigger something greater? The worst part is that the violence didn't just destroy a family, it left a dark mark on that house. Neighbors reported hearing strange sounds afterward, footsteps echoing in empty hallways, and, on some nights, a male voice whispering, "Why? What if it's true? What if Joel's shadow still roams, trapped in an eternal loop of regret?" The terror that began at that feast didn't end. It merely transformed. It might be closer than you imagine. Omima, a young Egyptian woman, believed she had found true love when she met Bill, an American fascinated by her culture. At first, it seemed like a fairy tale. He showered her with compliments, saying she was a reborn Egyptian queen, a living piece of history in his life. But what began as admiration turned into a suffocating obsession. He insisted on shaping her into an ideal that existed only in his mind. Omima was no longer a woman. To him, she was a symbol. The terror began when she realized he didn't see her soul, only an object to control. Things reached a breaking point on Thanksgiving. Bill planned an authentic dinner, but the traditions he imposed were merely distorted reflections of his fantasies. Tired of his abuse and obsession, Omima decided that this would be their last dinner together. During the feast, she served a special dish, and no one imagined what was coming. After the toast, when everyone praised the meat's flavor, she revealed the truth. Bill, the abusive husband, wasn't just absent. He was the main course. At first, no one believed her, but what came after confirmed the worst. The dish was analyzed. Real facts pointed to human traces. Can you imagine the horror in the room? The smell of the dinner, once appetizing, became nauseating, and the crushing silence gave way to screams. And at the center of it all, Omima showed no remorse, only a terrifying calm. "It was the only way to free myself," she allegedly said. It's not hard to imagine how that act impacted everyone present. Have you ever been at a dinner where silence screamed louder than people? Listen closely. Sometimes, terror hides in the most mundane details, like the clinking of cutlery or muffled footsteps in the kitchen. This macabre event left scars not only on the survivors, but also on that house. People say that those who visit the place today feel a strange chill and hear whispers while passing through the kitchen. A warning, perhaps, or just the presence of something that refuses to rest. Gilberto Valle seemed like an ordinary man, a dedicated policeman, a devoted husband, and a caring father. But Thanksgiving 2012 revealed a side of him no one could have imagined. His wife Catherine, while using the home computer, found something that froze her blood. A detailed plan to kidnap, torture, and, in the worst horror, devour women. It wasn't a movie script or a distant fantasy. The details were so meticulous, they felt all too real. And if it weren't for that casual discovery, what might have happened? Have you ever thought about what could be hiding in the shadows of everyday life? Catherine didn't wait. With a racing heart and trembling hands, she contacted the authorities. The investigation revealed a dark side of Valle no one suspected. He was part of online forums dedicated to discussions about cannibalism, and even had a list of potential targets. During questioning, he claimed it was all just fantasy. But real facts showed the plans included dates, addresses, and even details on how he intended to prepare the victims. It wasn't just macabre, it was real. Imagine sitting at the table with someone who, in secret, plans to devour another person like a predator lurking. The terror of this story lies in the dissonance between appearance and reality. Vale's wife described how attentive he was during family dinners, how he carefully carved the turkey and served portions with a smile. Who could have imagined that the same knife, so skillfully handled, could be the tool of unimaginable horror? After his arrest, Vale's legacy still haunts those who heard his story. In the forums he frequented, silence seems to have taken over, as if others fear the shadows might reach them too. And you? Have you ever looked at someone close to you and wondered what really hides behind that smile? Listen closely. Perhaps the next scream will come from where you least expect. After hearing these stories, it's impossible not to look at your own daily life with different eyes, isn't it? The next time you sit at the table with friends or family, perhaps a thought will cross your mind. What if there's something hidden behind that smile? The terror we explored today isn't in movies or fictional tales, it's in real life. In real facts that leave deep marks on history and make us question what we truly know about the people around us. The most disturbing thing is that these events don't come out of nowhere. They begin with small cracks, a misplaced word, a silent obsession, a secret no one dares to reveal. Would you be able to spot these signs? More importantly, what would you do if you realized something like this was about to happen? Perhaps the greatest terror is realizing that, no matter how hard we try, we are never completely safe. So, are you ready to apply this knowledge? Remember, what you heard here today might save you from becoming the next protagonist of a story no one should ever live. Leave a comment on what you would do in such a situation. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, we continue to uncover the darkest mysteries and reveal the truths many prefer to ignore. See you next time, if you're still brave enough.